recording. Okay, so we're going to go over some more Learning Module 3 assignments. And again, just type in any questions you may have along the way. I'm going to go ahead and start with some problems in 3G. Okay, so I'll start with some from the beginning. I think I did some of these in the last video, but I'm definitely going to cover number 7 because it seems like some of you guys had problems with that one. Alright, let me just get my pen, change my color. Alright, so I'm going to start with this one, which is what number is 30% of 230? So what I would do is I would translate this into an equation, whereas the phrase what number actually is going to be my variable. The word is going to be my equal sign. We never want to plug in a percent into our equation. We always want to convert that percent to a decimal, so 30% becomes 0.30. The word of stands for multiplication, and I'm going to multiply by 230. So once I multiply 230 times 0.30, I'm going to get x equals 69. But you can see they didn't ask me to solve it. They just wanted me to translate it. So I'm going to look for an equal answer here, and I would pick this one. X equals 230 times 0.3, which is the same thing as 0.30. Now since we did solve it, that just means that 69 is 30% of 230. Okay? And I'm just going to skip around a little bit. There's a couple different ways you can solve it. The video shows it one way. I do it equation way. There's more than one way you can look at it. And that's why I think some people get it one way and others get it the other way. So choose the way that works best for you. Okay? Same thing here. What number is 30% of 230? I would put what number is, oh, that's the same one. Duh. I should probably go to the next one. There we go. This one is 340 is 65%, which I'm going to write as a decimal, of what number. And again, whenever we see that phrase what number or what percent, we always use a variable. So in order to solve this, we would actually have to divide by 0.65 because I want to get this variable here alone. And the only way to get the variable, this x alone, is to do the opposite. Well, since x is being multiplied by 0.65, the opposite of that is division by 0.65, and you want to do that on both sides. So then when you divide 340 by a decimal, you're going to get a pretty large number, but again, it didn't ask you to solve it. It just wants you to translate it. So again, 340 equals 0.65x, this one right here. The pyramid is, you can only use the pyramid if you're actually going to solve for an answer. When it comes to actually just translating it, we're not trying to solve it. So I can see why that would throw you off there. Okay, let's skip around a little bit more. Okay, I picked this one because sometimes people get confused that this is a decimal and a percent, right? So what number variable is, since it's 5.2%, I can't just write 5.2. It's still technically not in decimal form because it has this percent symbol, so I have to go ahead and move that twice. So I'm going to have 0.052 times 220. Which would be this one here. Okay? Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and get down to number 7. Now this one, if you don't pay close attention, Okay, all the other ones said what number, so it was just a number. But this one says 1%, okay? And then it also gives you some extra instructions here. It says give your answer to the 1 decimal place. So we have 140 is what percent of 250? So again, in order to solve for x, we have to go ahead and do division first. I'm just going to change my color. Okay, because x is being multiplied by 250. In order to get x alone, I'm going to divide by 250. Okay, so I'm going to get 140 divided by 250 is going to give me a decimal of x equals 0.56. Now, it says give your answer to the 1 decimal place. Okay, fine. So I'm going to say that this 6 would make this 5 a 6. So I'm going to go with 0.6. But again, it's a percent. So it's not 0.6%. It's 60%. So let's see if it likes me. And if not, we'll figure it out until it does. Oh, no, it doesn't like me. Is this exactly what it did to you? So this is what we're going to do here. Because when I checked, I remember checking yours specifically, and I feel like it was okay. Can you remember if we rounded before or after we converted it to a decimal? Okay, you tried both ways. All right. Well, this is what I can do too. Hold on, I'm going to pause my screen really quickly because I don't want to record anybody's grade. And I'm going to go double check that really quickly. 3G number 7. Okay, so 150 is over. So it does, okay. Oh, maybe because I didn't actually write 1 decimal, I just wrote a whole number. I can see the one that you got actually did have the decimal, which, okay, so let's go back. Let's do it one more time. That was 3G, right? I can unpause this. Can you see my screen again? Is it moving? Okay, 3G, number 7. Okay. I'm going to go back. We got 170 is what percent of 280, which is multiplying. I'm going to divide by 280. Gives me a pretty long decimal. So I get x equals 0.6071. I don't need to go any further than that. So I'm going to go, this would be x is 60.7. Let's see if it likes me now. Let me switch to my pen. 0.7. Yay, it likes me now. I have a feeling since I wrote a whole number on the last one, it really wanted me to write point something, 0.0. Okay. Let's see here. What is 75% of 250? Let me change my color. 75% of 250. So here, just pay attention to what it's saying. 75% of, right, of is multiplication 250. In order to actually do that, you have to change it to a decimal and multiply it by 250. And it actually wants an answer here, right? You're not translating. So we're going to actually type something in. and I'm going to type in 187.5. So 75% of 250 is 187.5. You do the 250 times the 0.75, 0, 5, 2, 10, 11, 12. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 5 is 35. 14, 15, 16, 17. 2 decimal places, and there you go. Okay. I want to make sure I do a couple in the next section. Let me just check this last one. That's the same thing we've been doing. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to 3H. Okay. So this one is a percent increase problem. It says if 19 was increased to 27, the increase was what percent of the original number? So whenever you're doing a percent increase and a percent decrease, you want to find out the difference between the original and the new number. So the difference means to actually subtract. You're going to get 8. So then what you're going to want to do is it tells you what percent is that of the original. You're going to take that difference, which is 8, and you're going to divide it by the original number, which was 19. So of course, 8 divided by 19 is going to give you some sort of decimal. Okay? And it actually is a pretty long decimal. It says write your resulting percent in decimal form rounded to 3 decimal places. Okay. So it wants you to actually write your percent as the decimal, and it tells you right here. Write 5.66% as 0.057. So I am going to write this as 0.421. And I am going to switch to my type to make sure it does like it. 4, 2, 1. There we go. Okay, so make sure you read the directions really closely. Don't move too fast because you know what you're doing. Okay, pay attention to how it's telling you to enter the answer. So here, if 10 is increased to 13, the increase was what percent of the original number? Write your resulting percent in decimal form, rounded to 3 decimal places, and again, it's reminding you how to write it. So the difference between my original number 10, right, and my new number 13 is 3. So I'm going to take that number 3 and I'm going to divide it by the, again, I want to know the percent of the original number. The original number is 10. So I'm going to get 0.3. Now there isn't anything to round to, so it should accept this. Let's make sure. There we go. Okay. Again, I'm just going to skip around a little bit. This one says, what is the sales tax on a suit priced at $157 if the sales tax is 5%? That means I have to take 5% of 157. Okay, so I'm going to get 7 times 5 is 35. 5 times 5 is 25, 26, 27, 28. 5 times 1 is 5, 6, 7. I like to change my color when I'm indenting. So the next number is all zeros. So I'm just going to go ahead and write all zeros. I have 2 decimal places here, so my decimal will go right here. So what is the final tax? It's $7.85. Okay. Here we say a shirt was originally priced at $40. The store is having a 30% off sale. How much will you pay for the shirt after the discount? Okay, so this isn't asking for what is the discount. It wants to know how much is it after the discount. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply this one. 0 times anything is 0. Then I'm going to switch to my 3's. 3 times 0, 3 times 4. I get 0, 0, 2, 1. 2 decimal places, 12 bucks. So $12 is the amount of the discount, but I want to know how much did I actually pay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the subtraction. I actually paid $28. Any questions so far, guys? Okay. Let's keep skipping around. What is the sales tax on a suit? We did this one already. Okay, this is just like the percent increase and decrease we did earlier. It says Tracy paid $185 for an item that was originally priced at $530. What percent of the original price did she pay? Again, you got to find the difference between the new number and the old number. So when you do that subtraction, you're going to get $345. Then you want to take that number and you want to divide it by the original number. It was originally priced at $530. So I'm going to actually get a decimal point, 65.09434. It says give your answer to the 1 decimal place. So I would actually change that to a 7. Well, no, I'm lying. I'm going to make it 65.1%. Let's see if it likes me, because this might be one of those ones where it's temperamental. It is. Let's figure out why. Did it want me to convert it first? Let me erase this. Alright, Tracy paid $170 for an item that was originally priced at $330. The difference was $160. I'm going to do $160 divided by $330. Again, you get a decimal point, 484848. Okay, it wants it as a percent, which in this case would be 48.4%. And technically, that 8 would make that 4 a 5, no? Or should I do it right here? No, that wouldn't make sense. This is the one I should type in, right? It better like me this time. I'm going to have to pause the screen again and go in the background and see what's happening. Pointer. 48.5. Come on. Oh. Nope. Alright, let me go in the background and see what it wants me to do, because obviously being straightforward isn't an option. What number was that again? That was 3H. Number 12, thank you. 3H. I had a feeling number 12 was going to be goofy. Alright, number 12. Here's another one. Let me take a screenshot. Yeah, it seems like certain... I might have to look at each and every problem, because it looks like some of them work out just fine. But not all of them. So let's see. Let's see. They have another problem here that Tracy paid $190. It was originally priced at $410. Gives me a that wasn't right. Tracy paid $190. Something that was $410. minus 190 equals divided by 410. Is it because, am I dividing by the wrong one? Huh. Oh, you know what? Here we go. Let me see something. I think I was doing it wrong. Let's see. Let me reread that question. I might have been making some assumptions here. Go back. It was number 12, right? I think I might have been moving a little too fast for my own gears. Okay. Tracy paid. Let me get my pen back. Tracy paid $160 for an item that was originally priced at $5. Oh yeah, I wasn't answering the right question. I wasn't asking about the increased percent or the decreased percent. It was asking what percent. Look, I do it too. I gotta slow down and read the question. What percent of the original price did she pay? She paid $160 and the original price was $500, so you don't actually subtract here. Only percent increase and decrease you subtract. So this actually turns out to be 0.32. So let's see if it likes me if I type 32%. There we go. I wasn't answering the right question. I'm sorry. I was just zipping through like everything was all good. Okay. Let me erase that. I know I make mistakes too, and I hate when I have them recorded. Okay, let's do some simple interest, which in order to do simple interest problems, you need a formula called I equals PRT. The letter I stands for the amount of interest. It's either interest that you paid, like on a credit card or a student loan or something like that, or interest that you earned in like a savings account or, you know, some kind of investment. Your P is your original amount. Okay, it's usually I invested $5,000 or I borrowed whatever, 10 grand for a car. Okay, that's your original amount. R is your interest rate. Okay, this is usually a percent that you always have to convert to a decimal. Okay, and T is your time, and in particular it is in years. Okay, so once you know those things, you can actually take all of it and plug it in appropriately. Okay. Okay. I'll figure that. I'll help you with that one. Number 5 and 8. Okay. So here Maria invests 17 grand. So here the P is 17 grand. So I'm going to equals 17,000 at a 13% simple interest rate, which technically is 0.13 for 1 year. So my time is 1 year. And it says how much would be, make sure you answer the question, how much is in the account? Okay, so doing this is only going to tell me the amount of interest. Okay, so I got 17,000 times 0.13 times 1, obviously. So the amount of interest is 2,210. But if I want to know how much is in the account, I need to go ahead and add the 17,000 I started with plus the amount of interest. And the amount in the account should be, and I'm going to switch to my pointer, $19,210. There we go. Okay. We'll just keep going. The simple interest is on the midterm. I gotta check if it's even on the midterm. But I try to pick numbers that are small and easy for you guys to use, because technically there are no calculators. So you can use them to check your work now doing homework, but you should be trying to do the work without it. Okay. But I'm going to take a look at the numbers to make sure they're not ridiculous without a calculator. Okay, so Joy invests 12 grand. So again, that's your P at 15% interest, and again for 1 year. How much is in the account? So again, this is one where you can't forget to go back and add it. Okay, so this ends up being 1,800, and then you want to add it to the original, and you get a total of 13,800. So let me get to, what number was that? Number 5 and number 8. Number 5. Okay. This one says, Margot borrows 1,600, so that's your P, agreeing to pay it back with 8% interest after 16 months. How much interest will she pay? Okay, this one is tricky because it's not in years. So really what you want to do is, since there's 12 months in a year, right, we're going to just put 16 over 12. Because that means that it's 1 year and a little bit, right? It's technically 1 year and 4 over 12, which is really 1 year and 1/3. Okay? Okay. Give me 1 second, all right? I'm having a little technical difficulties over here. Just give me 1 second. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm back. Alright, so let me read what you wrote about that. I didn't get to see what you said. Okay, 1.33. And what, it didn't like that answer, or I would leave it as a fraction, just because. Oh, okay, good. Alright, so let's do this one. Let me get my pen back. Alright. Okay. So, I mean, you would just write 11 over 12 for 11 months, and you would write 18 over 12 for 18 months. But I would just leave it as a fraction, if you could. Okay, so I'm going to have the interest is 1,600 with 8%, and then I would just write it like that, just like that. Because sometimes the decimal will get too long, you know. So now this kind of problem, honestly, I would definitely use a calculator. But this won't be on the midterm, not in this way, you know, not this. It would take you a long time to do it by hand. Okay, so let's see if I can come up with an answer that it will accept. So 1,600 times 0.08 is 1,280 times 16 over 12. So then right here what I would do is I would do 1280 times 16, and I would get 480 over 12. Now we get it. I gotta move my screen a little. So now we get I equals, this is very big. Yeah, I wouldn't expect you guys to do this without a calculator. Not this particular problem. It says rounded to the nearest cent, so I would say 67 cents. Let's see if it likes me. 1706.67. After all that, it still didn't like me. Did I miss something? I don't think so. Oh, did I answer the question? How much interest will she pay? Yeah, that should have been it. Let's see. This one's just giving me a hard time today, huh? Move my screen around a little bit. Let's see. Why didn't it like that? Near cent. 67 cents. Alright, let's see. Let's see here. Let me clear this one. She borrows $1,200, pays it back with 0.8% for 10 months. So I'd write 10 over 12. How much interest will she pay? Round your answer to the nearest cent. So 1,200 times 0.08 is 96. 96 times 10 over 12 technically would just be 960 over 12. So the interest would be 80. Oh, this one would be a whole number, right? Let's see if it likes this one. Okay. Alright, I don't know. Just likes me sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. Or it just wants me to practice. Alright, so that was number 5, and the other one was number 8. Okay. Marge borrows $1,300, agreeing to pay back 2% after 6 months. So 6 over 12 is a pretty obvious half, right? So that's really what you're doing. 1,300 times 0.02 is 26. So I equals 26 times 0.5, which is half of that, which is 13. Again, this is a whole number, so it should accept it really without any issues. Where's my submit button? There it is. Okay. Let me see, were there any other ones that you wanted me to go over? Yeah, it doesn't like the decimals. You're right. I'm going to have to go check some of the settings on some of those. But good job, keep going until you can figure it out. So that was good. I talked about the time management project. So as you guys know, I extended all the Learning Module 3 stuff until tomorrow at midnight. So make sure you get it in. A lot of you have gotten everything in already, but there's some of you who I'm a little concerned about, but we'll see if you get it together by tomorrow. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you guys soon. You're very welcome. You too. Have a great week.